pretty much in a tight three across the middle of the park, Nakamura being the linchpin, bouncing from midfield up front to support Zurawski and Hartson. But Buric, the man in goal, big leader, bags of confidence throughout that side.
Well, there are lots of attacking options on the benches. One or two disappointed players, no doubt. Derek Riordan for Hibs, I suspect, and Sean Maloney and Craig Beattie for Celtic. Young men, hopefully, with very big futures. So the setting for a very important match. These sides locked together on 13 points at this stage of the season. There was an 8-point gap between them a year ago, and Hibs going for a 5th win in a row. The last time they did that was back in September, October 2002. They went from the bottom to 4th inside that very short period, so they're trying to emulate that run of form this afternoon, but they have the toughest of opposition to make that happen.
Very blustery today, Jock. Looking around the ground, flags in the middle, they're sort of blustering from left to right. The corner flags are all over the place. The pitch is looking in beautiful condition, but the wind could be a big factor today.
So the long wait for the supporters to take their seats and for the players to emerge from the tunnel, and Hibs of course looking to continue good form. The last time they won a match was 5 years ago when they beat Celtic, rather than home was 5 years ago when they won a league match by 2-1. Pat McGinley, remember, one of the scorers in that game, former Celtic player also. So there is Neil Lennon, who will obviously banish from his mind thoughts of Tuesday's SFA meeting, when his period of suspension will be established.
Yeah, I think he'll just be concentrated on today. I think that'll be the furthest from his mind. He'll want to get this game out of the way. He'll want to get his team 3 points under the belt and worry about that when it comes along.
So it's been a good run since that defeat at Ibrox for Celtic. They won the next 2 matches to get back on the rails, scoring 6 times, losing none, and Arthur Boruc obviously a key player in that respect. They have 4 players who started all 8 games this season: Telford, Kamara, Petrov and Hartson. And that's despite using a total of 22 different players this early in the season. That's a remarkable total at this time for a team normally in a settled formation. So Hibs appearing belatedly there in the tunnel. Malkowski, the goalkeeper, who also recovered from that 4-0 drubbing against Hearts in that 4-match run of no defeats. Gary Caldwell will skipper the side back after the injury, the very bad injury he sustained when he punctured his lung and had 2 broken ribs. Match at Tynecastle. He's now back, having played half a game on Thursday evening. So the sides emerge. What should be a highly competitive end-of-day match, and Ivan Sproul there gets a particularly warm welcome. Starts for Hibs, is fast becoming a cult hero here. 4 goals in 5 matches this season, 3 of them against Rangers at Ibrox. He's also scored at Celtic Park last season. He'll never forget his international debut for Northern Ireland, that 1-0 victory against England 2 weeks ago.
Arthur Boruc, a breath of fresh air if you're a Celtic fan. And David Marshall conceding 9 goals in the first 2 games, comes straight into the side, 4 clean sheets in 6 games. Big play for Celtic. Lots of confidence, spreads of confidence throughout his defence. A key figure in this Celtic scene.
So Gordon Strachan was a Hibs supporter as a boy. This is his home club, the team he first followed many years ago. The referee is Craig Thompson, who has a record of 1 red card a match already this season in his 3 games. So the Celtic huddle, and it's Tony Mowbray who is credited with starting that when he was playing centre half for Celtic in the early 90s. There he is, the Hibs manager, one of the most likeable men in the game.
That's if he was playing against them, Joe.
So referee Craig Thompson has satisfied himself, all is in order, and Hibs get the match underway. David Murphy, the ball straight away. He's been very good player at full-back for Hibs. He's arriving from Middlesbrough. Turned away there by Lennon in the all-black strip, chain strip. The normal chain strip is all green, of course, and that won't do against Hibs here. So it's Murphy with the throw for Hibernian, and looking around the system here, trying to check where Ivan Sproul has been deployed. He's currently pushed forward on the left-hand side ahead of David Murphy. Held up there by Telford and Lennon. This is Nakamura, and now McManus. Zurawski, I don't know if he tried that, but he certainly found Hartson very effectively. Back there with Caldwell. This is Gary O'Connor. Heavy tackle there by McManus.
Yep, sharp play there from McManus. Kind of just dropping off into a deeper area, bringing the centre half into an area where it doesn't want to be, which is good play from the centre forward. Just a clumsy tackle from McManus.
So it's Whittaker with Shields on the right hand side there, and Hibs are using Ivan Sproul wide on the left hand side. O'Connor on his own through the middle, Sproul wide on the left, Shields wide on the right. So it'll be a 4-5-1 in defence and a 4-3-3 perhaps, Mark, in attack.
Yeah, depending whether they've got the ball or without the ball. I think pretty flexible. I think more flexible than the Celtic team, but we'll see as time goes on, Joe.
Hartson winning the high ball and being penalised. Not sure what that was for. It seemed to be fairly straightforward, that leap. There is again, the arms are up once again.
Yeah, the trademark hands up.
Thompson's pass here, Sproul, and Baldy goes across. I'm sure there will be consideration given to the presence of Ivan Sproul on this hip side because of that blistering pace. They just force Celtic to stay a little bit deeper defensively. There's Kamara, good running on the left hand side. And a very good ball across, but Hartson not able to get in there quickly enough. Miscue there by Sproul.
Not the strongest part of his game, heading. But I think after the month he's just had, I think we'll let him off for that one.
Paul Telford is playing his 540th senior professional match. At the age of 33, quite impressive. Whittaker's clearance. His career in senior football might have been here at Hibs because he was here as a youth player when he was 14 years old. Lovely play by Nakamura. Fouled there on the turn.
Lovely skill from Nakamura there. Foot on the top of the ball, little stand over. Narrowed on the turn. So just being caught.
Now Telfer has Nakamura ahead. Held up by Sproul. Back in that 4-5-1 now. They have lost possession, Hibs. Now it's with Telfer. Looking there for Hartson in the box. Not quite enough on that. Chris Hogg with the first header and some indecision there with him and Caldwell. Hibs have survived. Feels the handball correctly ignored by the referee. Cross it comes again to Telfer. Now back with Balde and McManus getting established there as a central defensive partnership. It's with Telfer now. Nakamura staying on the right hand side of the attack ahead of him. Here's Nakamura back with Lennon. Lennon in his familiar sitting role. Nakamura and Petrov have been released to attacking roles from midfield. Thompson also sitting in front of the back four.
You'd expect Nakamura to be more of the central player, but I think Petrov and him sort of on a pivot at the moment. One playing out right, one playing through the middle, and just playing on a pivot.
That's Shields playing it inside there for Bergeron. Caldwell. Kevin Thompson. Very talented left foot. Sproul on the turn. Now he can run away there perhaps from Telfer, or only if he stays on his feet. Hartson's layoff, a lot of space here for Nakamura. This is promising now for Celtic. Petrov charging ahead. Zurawski's on the left, but this is Petrov with a great chance for the opener. And he's taken it! Celtic have the lead. It could scarcely have been simpler.
Super pass from Nakamura. I can't believe the marking at the back there from Hibs, and I don't think Petrov could believe when he received the ball how much space he actually had. The defence. Nakamura just carrying the ball, nobody going with Petrov at all, trying to play an offside, no pressure on the ball. That's a simple finish for Petrov. Super run, nobody picking him up, look, can't believe it. And that's a super finish between the goalkeeper's legs, taking his team 1-0 up.
It really is awful defending, that. Nobody get tight to him. They looked for an offside flag, which wasn't justified.
Trying to play offside job when there's no pressure on the ball. You can't do that. You can only do it when there's been pressure on the ball. You can squeeze up, but that was ridiculous defending, suicidal.
Well, exactly the start I'm sure Tony Mowbray was dreading. And Ivan Sproul, remember, really was the cause of that in one sense by his stumble as he tried to attack Paul Telford on the other side of the pitch, falling over in the act, and Celtic scored from the ensuing move. It's with Telford now. Can't imagine he's too thrilled to see Sproul lining up directly against him, but so far all going well for Celtic. Here's Petrov. Now Telford again. Lennon has to hurry. Pressure there coming from Michael Stewart, the midfield for Hibs. Well, we'll see what effect that might have on Hibs, Mark, because it could well have a dampening effect on them.
It could also have a positive. I need to the jolt. I think a pretty flat start from Hibs. More livelier start from Celtic. Playing on the front foot. I think that might just jolt Hibs into action. But when we talk about Sproul, it's a big different game when you're starting a game and coming on as a substitute. The pace of the game is so much quicker.
There's space now for Stephen Whittaker. Thompson trying to close him down. McManus came to meet him. This is O'Connor. Another good tackle there by McManus. O'Connor showing his willingness to mix it, but losing out to Thompson. Now Nakamura. Very good awareness there, Nakamura. Head up all the time, looking to pick out the pass, which he did to Telfer. Thompson in that deeper role now with Petrov and Nakamura, the attacking men in midfield. Lennon and Thompson, the sitters. Plenty of
flexibility. Thompson coming in from the left, playing in the middle now. Petrov playing on the left-hand side of him. Pretty free with the movement through that Celtic midfield area. Another clumsy challenge there on.
Nasty late one that by McManus.
Yeah, it's the second one on O'Connor.
Saw one that O'Connor. The ball had gone.
See that? Yeah, just catching him on the toe, I think.
Gosling passing to Shields. Space for Murphy now. Hibs looking for an early response. Interception made by Baldy. It reaches Stewart. Murphy well forward. No chance there against the combined efforts of Baldy and McManus. And here's Petrov, longest serving player on the Celtic side. Signed in 1999. How times change. Here's Nakamura. Hartson free on the right hand side. Waiting for support in the middle, goes alone, and that was because he had little option.
Super play again there from Celtic, spraying the ball around. Super play from Nakamura, finding John Hartson. One thing on Hartson's mind, getting that shot off, as goal scorers do, in the box, have a shot. Keeper taking it quite comfortably.
Brought down well there by Murphy. This is Thompson. Lost a season with a cruciate knee injury, Kevin Thompson. Careless one by O'Connor. Zurawski can pick out Hartson. Now Nakamura, Telfer supporting on the right hand side. Wasn't matched by Sproul that run. Misunderstanding with Nakamura. Well, communication may well be a problem with Nakamura as he wants to learn English. So Hibs now trying very hard to settle and establish themselves. They really can't certainly afford to lose a second goal at this stage of the match.
No, I think they've just got to get keep hold of the ball, make a few more passes in the Celtic half, and try and put the goalkeeper under a little bit more pressure. I don't think the keeper's had Bodic has had anything to do in 10 minutes.
Well, the Celtic A firm grip on the proceedings right now, and movement offered again by Camara. He really is something of an athlete out there, but even he can't catch that.
It's the beauty, I think, and when Celtic have the ball, they can actually afford to be very, very tight across the middle of the park, because you've got an engine in Camara that can get up and down that left-hand side all day long.
This is Thompson, and now Murphy, seeing a lot of the ball early on. Difficult pass up for Stewart to control. Petrov takes over. Bundled over by Thompson. Well, Celtic really have asserted themselves right from the start here.
Yeah, good play by Petrov there, just using his body to shield the ball from Stewart. And just winning himself the free kick.
Well, this presents a real hazard for the Hibs defence. This set piece taken by Alan Thompson. And enough jostling and battling there to make sure no one can get to that. Balde and Hartson, serious threats in the box for that.
Yeah, both coming flying in there. A little push there, I think, from Gary Caldwell on John Hartson. It's always a threat, Hartson and Balde, set pieces.
The man is strong against O'Connor. Careless one by Bergeron. This is Zurawski. Hartson waits in the middle. Nakamura trying to get there too. And Zurawski's recent scoring form encouraging him to have a shot at goal. Scored 5 times in the last 4 matches. 3 for Celtic, 2 for Poland. Now let's look again at this Celtic opening goal.
Yeah. Shocking defending. Caught in the Red Sea there. That's the man who we want on the ball. We've seen him time and time again making those runs into midfield. Cool as you like, through the goalkeeper's legs onto the back of the net.
Dean Shields has found some space. He has Stewart inside. This is Thompson. Murphy calls for the ball on the touchline. This needs a good delivery, not good enough. It's cut up by Balde. That's Bergeron. Back with Thompson. Now Whittaker. Well, it was driven in by Whittaker. There was really no guile about that. And Thompson able to make the block. This is Caldwell, the skipper, trying to lead by example. Promising here again. Bergeron can't get it beyond Lennon. This is better play though from Hibs.
That's better play from Hibs. Big long balls up, difficult to get a hold of. Slide rule balls up the side of defenders, the big defenders. The big two at the back.
Shields bundled over by Camara, and the free kick is given. Now this is a real opportunity for Hibs, for Kevin Thompson in particular. He's the likely player to take this. Well, a little debate going on among the officials. Can't think what that's all about. And Alan Thompson saying too much there to Tom Murphy on the line. Oh, why Thompson should be involved at all, I really don't know. Free kick taken too quickly. The referee hadn't authorised it, and the wall had not been brought back the requisite 10 yards. Queuing up in the middle of Thompson's free kick. Got that past the wall, but not past Lennon. Disappointing for Hibs. Nakamura back there to Thompson. That's good chest control by Zurawski. Now Hartson measuring the pass for Nakamura. This is Petrov. Good play from Celtic. Nakamura again. Careless one by Hartson. Hibs have it back. But Petrov retrieves possession again. Gets help from Lennon. Skillful play by Balde. Michael Stewart trying very hard to put pressure on in the middle of the field. Trying to press the game there. Celtic composed, confident in possession. So this is Alan Thompson. Off goes Kamara, one of those surging runs again. That's great play by Kamara, terrific play. Now Hartson, well, you can see him there trying to side foot that for the corner. It was great play by Kamara.
Super play by Celtic all round. Great pass in. Final pass from Thompson. Super ball.
Well, Celtic have started in a very impressive fashion. Hibs struggling to cope. Well, offside was the first decision. I think the second might well have been a foul against Hartson.
Yeah, it must be said, Joe. Celtic look like the team that will have a good week's training. So, Hibs looking like a team that just can't get to the pace of the game at the moment.
Well, you really can't give away a goal so early, so simply and easily, and expect to compete at this level. It has had an effect, there's no doubt. It seems to me they certainly have been flattened somewhat by that goal. Perhaps even the way in which it was conceded has contributed to that. This is when real leadership's required in the Hibs ranks. You're going to have to be inspired to get back into play. Well, remember, our man of the match competition, you can win a signed shirt from the man of the match if you can name the correct man and get some luck in the draw. Mark Catley will decide later on who's going to be there. The numbers to call: 0901 13 13 323, or from the Republic of Ireland 1513 712 444. You can also text MOTMH or MOTMP space player's name to 85010. So think about that later on in the match. So still Celtic having by far the better of things. It must be very troubling for Tony Mowbray to look on here and see his young side, frankly at this stage, not at the races.
Yeah, I think it's important for Hibs to come out and try and set the tempo of this game, but they haven't done that, and now finding it really difficult to get into this. Celtic playing with bags and bags of confidence.
A hefty tackle there by Thompson on Thompson. Kevin Thompson on Thompson. So Celtic's free kick once again. Baldy and McManus make their way forward. Shot, it comes to Telfer. Here's Nakamura. Right now with Lennon. Patience, the name of the game for Celtic. They probe for an opening. And a vicious one by Thompson. Good throw out. Here's Dean Shields. Can Hibs produce something here to get them back into the game? O'Connor hustled out of that. Well, he's stolen several yards, Kamara. Well, you really would suggest, in fact, Mark, several Hibs players haven't had a kick at the ball yet.
Just not come out and started the game. I think you're playing against the top teams. Can afford to carry one, maybe two players. Trying to carry 5-6 players is a non-starter.
Zurawski with Thompson supporting. He's back with Kamara. Now Lennon. Celtic perfectly happy to go back with a kick possession. Look at a space here in midfield for Nakamura.
Got availability all over the park, Jock. Players free, plenty of movement. Nakamura, Petrov, guys that you don't want to be able on lots of time on the ball. Have got stacks of time at the moment. Thompson, Petrov, Nakamura, all interchanging. Very, very difficult to pick up.
Well, the Hibs at midfield just sitting back, allowing all this activity in front of them. Nobody really having two banks of four, but they start to press the ball more.
So that's what we want to be doing as well, coming off a midweek game, being chasing the ball, 1-0 down at the early stages of the game.
Needs something to kick-start their performance. Someone has to do something a bit special, I think. Petrov with a pass. Telfer pushing forward on the right-hand side, could take a pass any time. Here's Neil Lennon, always available in midfield. Nakamura and Petrov continually switching positions. Hibs playing zonally, they're not playing any man-for-man marking. They keep the players in their positions. pick up the men who come into that area. This is Kamara. Nakamura's dummy didn't deceive Bodica. Caldwell put Zurawski under pressure. Here's Bergeron. The crowd telling him to hurry. Here's Murphy. Now Sproul in possession. He's gone offside though. Very simple offside decision that. Frustration for the Irishman. Well, Ivan Sproul was supposed to be pinning Paul Telford back and perhaps exploiting a little lack of pace in the Celtic defenders' make-up, but that just hasn't happened.
No, I think he's just coming to terms with the fact that he's starting the game. It's a completely different tempo when you're coming on from the beginning, from when he's been doing all his damage. The latter stages of the game, the pace of the game, players are tired. But at the moment, yet to leave any sort of impression on this game.
Here's Hartson. Rudiger holds him up. Did well. It's Michael Stewart. Bergeron under pressure from Lennon. Spin will take the ball towards Sproul. Thompson there to Zurawski. It breaks through there for Hartson. Promising again for Celtic. Here's Thompson. Well, no power on that ball across. A shortage of Celtic players in the box in any event.
Always a difficult one for Thompson to convert there. Tight angle running away from the goal.
Careless one by Murphy. And Hartson surely is offside. Yes, indeed, the flag is up. But it also may take just simply a searing tackle from a Hibs player, something to get everyone lifted.
Well, it's going to be something if you're that man there. You sit with your hands on your head, shaking your head, looking for something, looking for some sort of inspiration from somebody in his team. As yet, nobody showing any signs of that.
Better play from Sproul, setting up Michael Stewart. The referee was in the way. That prevented him setting himself for a shot at goal. Here's Sproul again. That's what Hibs wanted from him. Baldy makes a block. That's the kind of inspiring play Hibs require.
That's better. That's what you want. That's where you want him to be doing his damage. We said in the Celtic half, in the last third, in and around the box where he can use them quick little feet. Just trying to get players on the end of them passes now.
Corner kick. Straight to the safe hands of Boric.
Super take from Boric there. I've seen him do that many times this season. Spreads confidence through his defenders.
Much better play from O'Connor. A poor pass from Lennon to Nakamura. Here's Murphy. Here's Sproul. Quick, happy turn again. This is Whittaker. Needs help from Caldwell. Bergeron. Better play from Hibs. Now beginning to put some passes together. This is Thompson. O'Connor. O'Connor caught his heels there. The ball was played forward by Murphy. That's Telfer's clearance. Good layoff there by Hartson. This is Thompson to Kamara. Bergeron getting back to close him down. This is Zurawski. Now Thompson. Celtic restoring that pattern of dominance in midfield in particular. Keeping the ball, making passes. Hibs support have gone quiet here. An error by Murphy. Here's Nakamura. We could punish Hibs with this. Good save by Malkowski. Well, David Murphy, the most relieved Hibs player on the pitch, I've no doubt.
Fantastic ball from Thompson again. It's 3 or 4 he's hit already. Super take, big mistake from Murphy. Just a bit of a weak finish there from Nakamura. A super move nevertheless.
Well, Celtic dominant there, 6 shots to 0 already. And one of them has found the net.
They're saying Hibs have to do more in the last third. Try and make efforts on goal. Boric. Work for his...
Also, look at that, 60-40. Sandwich there on Hudson between Murphy and Hogg.
As we said though, the last 5 or 6 minutes, more encouraging signs for Hibs supporters.
Although there is a real solid feel about the Celtic performance so far, isn't there? I mean, right throughout the pitch they've been very well set up. Tony Mowbray looks on with lots of food for thought. Well, Hibs not pushing forward at all. They're allowing up the back four of Celtic all the time and space they want. Here's Nakamura, and now Lennon and Telfer. Hartson's little flick on, well read by Whittaker, but needs some help there from Chris Hogg. And the offside flag up again against Zurawski. Hibs have the free kick. Well, Gordon striking, I think, entitled to be very pleased with this team's performance so far. Stewart eased off the ball by Thompson, guilty of a bit of pulling there to try to even things up. So a free kick to Celtic. Well, Michael Stewart with a big injury out before the game. I wonder if everybody is just struggling a little.
Oh, he seems to have made a pretty lively start. He's putting his tackles in. He's nipping at the heels of the Celtic midfield. I think it's other people around him that need to be taking a lead from him.
There's Nakamura. Now Thompson. Camera. Closed down well by Shields. And Gordon striking, taking a chance to give some guidance there to Alan Thompson. This is Hartson. Going straight into Caldwell. He took a bang in the nose there as he played that ball away from Hartson. It's really a hazard of the business of centre back. Bursland. Carelessness again, and Celtic now have Petrov and Hartson together. Hartson not on his stronger side there, trying to play that really on the wrong foot.
Kamikaze football there from Hibs. Petrov, simple layoff with a weak finish there from John Hartson. I'd expect better from a man of his calibre. I think Hibs have come to terms now that they just can't sit off Celtic and just play the zonal thing. I think they've realised now if they do that they're going to get passed off the park, leak chances. I think now they've got it into their head that they need to press the ball. I think that's probably why they've come into this game in the last 10 minutes. A bit more urgency in pressing the ball. And the Celtic player is looking to make the pass.
Here's Thompson now. Challenge was made by Petrov. Here's Sproul. Telfer behind him. Nakamura back to help Telfer. That was important for Celtic. Nakamura made that contribution because Sproul does seem to have the measure of Telfer when he gets the ball at his feet.
I think we'd have the measure of most people once he gets turned around and facing a defender with his pace.
This is O'Connor. Oh, I'm not quite sure what that was intended to be.
I think he was just trying to scoot that into the far top corner there. I think the first touch was not a bad touch. It's a good ball up to O'Connor, takes it well. Puts himself in a good position between the two defenders. I think, yeah, just trying to flick that towards the far post. No, just taking that deflection off the knee.
Or off the hand, or perhaps because it was in the area of the hand, but couldn't be deemed intentional. Zurawski getting up for that. The hand was in the air from someone. The only thing that might concern Gordon striking is that his team have certainly dropped the pace a bit.
They have, but they still had the chances. Nakamura's had one, Hartson's had a couple. And I think he would like to get that second goal before half-time.
Well, that's why the dropping the tempo might have some impact on things. There he goes, long clearance. O'Connor's all on his own against McManus. Did well there. Stewart back to O'Connor. That's for Sproul, but was just played in the wrong angle. Had that gone through the inside right channel, Sproul was clear. This is Petrov now to Hartson. Camera made the run forward, but he wasn't picked out by Hartson. This is Thompson. Good pace again from Camera, but Whittaker matches him. And he's a very quick player too. Then the 21 international. So a throw to Celtic. Camera has Thompson available. Well, that was awkward. Back to Zarowski. The block was made by Hogg, and just as well, I think, for Hibs. Well,
it's a super stop.
Let off for Hibs.
Yeah, super stop from Mikowski there.
Well, what a relief that was for Hibs. Complete swipe there by Caldwell, which made no contact.
Played from camera again there, and that was a great reaction save there. Because Hartson was just waiting there just to prod that into the back of the net. Desperate defending.
Well, was there a handball decision here against McManus? Let's check on that. Well, certainly struck his hand, no doubt about that, but surely not deliberate.
Inconclusive for me. I think it still came off his knee, and I'm sticking by that, Joe.
Okay. It wasn't going to be a penalty anyway, that's for sure. Here's the Mo camera again with a throw for Celtic. Up goes Whittaker. Lennon bundled over by Stewart. Well, Michael Stewart is one of the players on the Hibs side trying to set himself and make challenges.
Yeah, he's getting close to players that are on the ball. I think he's a little bit fortunate there. I think Neil Lennon there just got his feet in a bit of a muddle.
Petrov sets up again. Good switch of direction. And Nakamura, Zarowski's gone to the right. Standing that up for Hartson, but that's a goalkeeper's ball. And Malkowski makes sure of that. That's O'Connor. A hard shift he has up front, essentially on his own. O'Connor. Another hefty tackle by McManus. He really lives on the edge, McManus, for some of these challenges. That's at least three that have been very hefty.
That's the third late tackle there from clumsy tackle, must be said. Nothing stud showing or anything, just a clumsy tackle there from McManus, but he's got to be careful. I think the next one could see a yellow card.
Hogg trying there to find Murphy, I think, on the left. Ivan Sproul looks back towards Hogg and complains about the delivery. Remember our man of the match competition? A signed shirt from that man of the match on offer for the successful participant. So there are the numbers to call. You can also text, remember, just check the numbers on the screen and the texting details. And once again, Hartson penalised for the handoff while the ball is in mid-air. Referee Craig Thompson, very sharp on that in the match so far. Murphy to Thompson. Space in the middle for Bersland. Well, no longer, because he couldn't keep his feet, and Thompson's through here. Bersland with the recovery challenge has been penalised.
That's a soft one, that from Bersland. Initial instigator of the Celtic move with a slip. Thompson just getting into that area, knew what he wanted, was looking for that free kick. But a clumsy challenge there from Bersland. Puts his team under pressure.
Well, the Bersland form this afternoon must have shown some concern to Hibs, because he normally is very much the playmaker, the guy who makes things tick in midfield, but he really has been out of sorts so far in the match.
Only one from three here, Joe.
Difficult task this for Malkowski potentially. Petrov is there, Nakamura is there, Thompson is there. Four on the wall. It's Nakamura. Well, he has to apologise to his two colleagues because he didn't do better.
Malkowski was covering that side, never wavered from that side, trusted his wall. Thinks in the right position to make the save, comfortable save.
Caldwell's pass picks out Stewart. Good running by Whittaker on the right hand side. Stewart again. Now O'Connor trying to switch the play. Nakamura's back defending this time. O'Connor once more. Reacts to the call from Murphy. And Thompson. Foul surely by Petrov. Yeah, free kick's given. Now Bersland. That's a good pass. Shields. On the right hand side is Whittaker. Better play from Hibs. That's O'Connor trying to set it up for Shields. Well, Boric has that effect of making things look so easy.
Better play from Hibs, picking players out, bouncing the ball off O'Connor there. Shot did a great take, good shot, comfortable save. Better play.
Here's Murphy now for Hibs. Celtic might just regret allowing the pace to drop. No free kick given. It looked like a foul by Petrov on Thompson, but the referee, well positioned, didn't see it that way.
I think if Celtic had kept the pace up, this game would have been dead and buried by now. Taking your foot off the gas has encouraged, definitely encouraged Hibs back into this game.
Nakamura not happy with the challenge from Sproul, but Celtic retained possession. Telfer to Petrov. Nakamura and Thompson. First it goes to Camara. That's great running again by Camara. He goes forward extremely effectively when Celtic had the ball. The question marks all seem to relate to his defending, Mark, because he couldn't really fault him in the attacking sense.
Well, he's been, I think he's settled in over the last 3 or 4 games for Celtic.
Experienced figure of Paul Telfer is scoring that behind the goal kick.
I think he's had an excellent game again today. In an attacking sense, he's always available, always charging up and down the left-hand side. Last 3 or 4 games, he's looked quite at home in this side, but defensive, as you said, Jock, that is the only question mark. We've not seen a lot of teams been putting him under pressure in that defensive role. But as an attacking force, a great asset to have.
O'Connor was playing for Burnley against Leicester City at Walker Stadium a year ago, a 0-0 draw. Petrov going through the gap, caught there by Berzlan.
Yeah, just a clumsy one there. It's being done by Petrov's skill, just letting the ball come across him.
Well, Gordon Strachan exchanging words with the 4th official over there. I'm not sure what that's about. Well, we understand that Strachan's complaint is that Hartson is being penalised so persistently, going for high balls. See what happens this time. No foul this time given, but it's with Hibs. Here's Thompson. Now Sproul. Telfer enough there, helped by Lennon. That's good defending by Celtic. Well, in fairness, Sproul didn't have a lot to work on there. Caldwell giving depth in defence, and only getting enough on that from Markowski. Frustration for Dean Shields.
I think it's man there. I'll have a few things to say at half-time. And I think what he'll be trying to think is how he's going to get the speedy Sproul into action up front. At the moment, Telfer's played him very well. He's not had a lot of ground to run into.
Zurawski's taking a sore one there, and that challenge from Thompson. He stayed in the ground. Looks like a bruise rather than anything more sinister, though. He's back on his feet, Zurawski, to his credit. Now Shields, good chest control from the 20-year-old. Berzlan's pass, a decent one. This is O'Connor, no one in the box though. O'Connor was on his own, did well to get the corner.
Yeah, good play, quicker play from Hibs there, into midfield, up to front. Ball from Berzlan there. O'Connor having it all to do himself, nobody in the middle. Good defending there from McManus. Two have not been far apart all game.
Kevin Thompson with the in-swinger for Hibs. Come off the head of Petrov. Kept in play by Sproul. Caldwell. Kept possession well. Whittaker with a shooting chance. Parried there by Boric. Better effort there from Hibs.
Good save from Budic. Good strike from Whittaker. Had a lot of time on the ball. Plenty of time to run onto that ball, but big goalkeeper Budic there. Good strong hands, pushing the ball away from the danger area.
Caldwell had to hurry. Nakamura was closing him down. Telfer wins the high ball from Sproul. And that decision goes Hibs' way. Here's Michael Stewart. Well, Hibs now towards the late stages of the first half, trying very hard to, I think, dampen the wrath of their manager, perhaps, at the interval.
Play more of the football in the Celtic half. Joe, that's what we said from the beginning. They needed to be taking the game to Celtic. They didn't do that. They've been punished. And it's taken them 25 minutes to get into this game.
A long clearance there from Petrov. Here's Chris Hawke retrieving. That's good awareness by O'Connor. He knew that Whittaker was sprinting up behind him.
It's good play from Whittaker there, the diagonal ball, 50-yard ball. You can see the space behind Kamara, and he's trying to get into that area. Just too hard for him.
This is Nakamura showing very good close control. He's kept the ball in play. Here's McManus. Zurawski holding off Hogg very effectively. Petrov now has Telfer supporting. Petrov again. That's towards Hartson. The flag is up for offside on the near side. Quickly taken free kick. Roseland back to Whittaker. Caldwell to Thompson. Off goes Sproul this time. He's in behind Telfer. Baldy comes across. Quick turn there by Sproul. He was body checked by Baldy. Well, Sproul can't believe it, nor can Hibs supporters, that nothing was given there.
I think Sproul just gave up on it too easily there, Joe. I think he did the right thing. It's the best we've seen.
Well, he's showing again he is undoubtedly a potential threat for Hibs. Would have been a very soft penalty, I have to say, but might well have been given a foul on the halfway line, and that really suggests it might have been a penalty. Across it comes to Shields. O'Connor's return pass. Camera did well. Very well. Nakamura took his eye off the ball. This is Caldwell. Might give Hibs some encouragement the way in which Sproul stretched that Celtic defence there.
You could say half-time's coming too soon to Hibs at the moment. Playing the best of the football.
Lennon to Zurawski. Just about a minute left in this first half, and perhaps nothing to be added. I can't remember a stoppage. Cross to Thompson, from Thompson to Camara. But I wonder if in the long term Celtic might regret allowing the tempo to drop as they have done since that flying start.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I think Gordon Strachan will be the man. I'm a bit disappointed in the way that the tempo has dropped in this game. This game should be dead and buried by now. The chances that Celtic had when they were 1-0 up.
Well, that's a delightful pass from Nakamura. It's out there from Camara. Well, here's that Sproul move again. I'll tell you what, there's a claim there.
Well, there is there. He's playing the balls past Baldy.
Look at that, the handoff. I mean, there was no way Baldy was letting a pass.
I think it was just too easy, though. I think Sproul just gave off on it too easy. I think if he'd have tried to fight to get to the ball, then the referee might have been a little bit more interested, should we say.
I think he was expecting the whistle. I think he expected the penalty. And Tony Mowbray certainly did. And look at that again. He's offside. He's offside. It won't count.
The last 5 minutes, that's the best we've seen from Sproul. We said that Tony Mowbray would be looking to where they could get that into the danger area, and that is definitely the danger area where it can be running onto the ball, not taking players on.
Well, Craig Thompson made a big decision there, and the more you look at that, the more you question whether or not he was right. And the half-time whistle goes. Celtic leading by that goal from Stilian Petrov in 5 minutes. Ivan Sproul still complaining that he should have had a penalty kick, complaining bitterly there to Craig Thompson. But the goal was scored in the easiest of fashion here. That ball played through by Nakamura. The gap was there. Offside hands were up to no avail as Petrov drilled the ball home. From that point on, for about 10-15 minutes, it looked as though Celtic might run riot, but then they allowed the pace to fall. Hibs are now back in the match. Look forward to the second half. It's Hibs 0, Celtic 1.